Welcome to Alan Wake 2. Alan is back, and 13 years have passed since we last saw him captured by the Dark Presence in the Writer DLC. This time, the story isn't just told through Alan's eyes. We also follow a brand new character, FBI Special Agent Saga Anderson. Alan Wake 2 has an absolutely insane 67 trophies, with 65 of them being bronze, 1 silver, 0 gold, and that coveted platinum that only 5.5% of players have managed to achieve. This is also the highest trophy counted game on the channel, which I don't believe will be beat anytime soon. And if you know of a game with a higher base game trophy count, let me know in the comments below. We will be going through the story, finding collectibles, taking on challenges, upgrading our weapons as we fight the Dark Presence once again for Alan's freedom. And so, with all that information out of the way, let's platinum Alan Wake 2. Before even getting started, I was doing my usual thing of turning off motion blur like we all do, and noticed the game has a surprising amount of helpful gameplay assists that upon researching don't disable trophies. So if you're good with horror but bad at item management, you can just enable infinite ammo and have at it. Alan's monologuing is back in full swing, but he isn't the focus of the prologue. Instead, it is this unnamed man. Unfortunately for this man, we are captured and sacrificed to the Dark Presence, earning us the hunting season trophy for completing the chapter. We also get a very cinematic Alan Wake 2 title screen and can begin the game with our new character Saga and her partner Casey, who, if you don't know, is the focus of Alan's books. Starting chapter 1, Invitation, we take a small walk over to the map and immediately get the Nightmare Territory trophy for picking up a map. We are then shown the Mine Place, which is essentially a small hub area that lets us collect clues, collectibles, maps, and everything else we find throughout the game. Which brings up my next point, manuscript fragments. These little pieces of paper are used to upgrade our weapons throughout the game and are tied to the only missable trophy, which is to fully upgrade a weapon. What's more, the game is semi-open world, letting us explore nearly anywhere we want, which results in me finding one of the cult's secret stashes, and upon deciphering their clue, get rewarded with some goodies and the secret stashes trophy for finding this stash and that lunchbox from earlier. Continuing our investigation, we find a piece of Alan's manuscript and even earning us the Not the Last trophy, discovering something was put inside Nightingale. So off to the morgue we go to poke around in his chest, and our reward for this game of operation is another manuscript page and clues on how to fight against the dark. But I went into the dark anyway, took 2 steps and died. Then Nightingale disappears and we end chapter 1 with the Somebody's Home trophy. Chapter 2, The Heart, puts us back at Cauldron Lake, which leads us to the witch's house that acts as a break room and gives us the trophy coffee thermos. And in what I call a good move, there is no fast travel in this game, so although we have safe zones, we have to make it there first. Going off of Alan's manuscript, we head to the general store where we find a cultist. Now, during and after our fight, we pick up an insane 5 trophies. Chase the Source, Darkness Coiled, Felt Good, Grew Bigger for expanding our inventory, and lastly, Bring It for finding the sawn-off shotgun. And we also find Nightingale's Heart too, if you care about the story. Who actually puts up a good fight, killing me multiple times before I realised I had to run away. And so I ran through the forest, fighting his relentless pursuit, but thanks to the new sawn-off shotgun we got from the store, he is dealt with, earning us the Lawman trophy for defeating him. What's more, we find Alan Wake himself, haggard and scared because Mr. Scratch escaped into reality and the dark presence has been manipulating the story ever since. And then, chapter 2 ends with a fade to black and the trophy into the overlap. Before even knowing the chapter name, we are allowed to explore Cauldron Lake, which I take full advantage of, finding a multitude of collectibles and even starting 3 different nursery rhyme related trophies. These weird little sites are imitations of Alan's abilities, using dolls, writing and different poems to make small events happen. For Saga, this means collecting charms that upon placing in our slots earn us the Filling the Shape trophy. And during the run back to my car, I get the Aimed Ahead trophy for defeating 5 different enemies with headshots. Now we start chapter 3, Late Night, which begins Alan's side of the story. We then get introduced to Alan's mind room, or in this case writing room, and how he plots out the manuscript for his newest book, Initiation. Alan's story here is complex and strange. It's showing the increasing paranoia of Alan in live action cutscenes, and then also his resolve to escape, even repeating the studio so he has a basis to work on. Before the end of the chapter, we even get that classic line of "It's not a lake, it's an ocean," ending this chapter with the trophy talk show. Chapter 4 begins with a mission to head to Caldera's Street subway. We end up meeting Casey briefly, who dies. We then steal his flashlight and revolver and earn the Find the Light trophy. Following a light-based puzzle right next to it, we discover a word of power, granting the Carry His Words trophy and a small upgrade for Alan. Exploring the area, I meet up with Tim, who knows us but we don't know him. I also get into a rather hectic fight where I pick up the Shining in the Night and Stunning Vistas trophies. Heading into the subway, I find a TV for the DLC Night Springs, but that's for another video, if you want it. Alan then begins piecing together a story using his writing room, combining prompts and scenes to manipulate the narrative. Due to this slow, the Dark Presence attacks, but we successfully escape, earning the Stormcloud trophy and the New York City trophy for beating Chapter 4. Chapter 5, Haunting, takes place in Alan's apartment and focuses on Alice's documentary of Alan's supposed return and if she did actually escape the dark place. Then we get a horrifying scene of what looks to be Alan being tortured by Scratch, earning us the return trophy for finishing the chapter and also the other side trophy for switching story for the first time. Chapter 6, Local Girl, and we are playing as Saga again, interrogating Alan for more manuscript pages and investigating the Cult of the Trees clicker, which leads us to Watery. There, I upgrade the pistol, earning the Growing Stronger trophy. Meeting a new speedy enemy, I stun him for the Stop the Monster trophy and solve a puzzle for the crossbow, granting the Greatest Hits trophy. Completing 5 of these nursery rhymes rewards the trophy Strange Reality and some more charms to go towards the trophy for finding all of them too. Blowing up this enemy earns the Gone for Good trophy, and finally fully upgrading the weapon unlocks All Smiles, completing that missable trophy. At Coffee World, using a coffee mug charm to escape death earned the Back to Life trophy, and for some reason I never used them again. We also find a screwdriver here for the Finding a Way trophy. Roaming around Coffee World, I get scared by Mr. Drippy, promptly put one in the middle of his head, earning the coffee themed fun trophy, and I also shot his recorder because I wanted him to shut up. There's also this Taken here who decides they want a piece of me, but luckily I had a flare and got the Escape Its Gravity trophy for sticking one in its mouth. It then proceeded to horrify me by having no face and still chasing me down. Now, heading into the boss fight with Mulligan and Thornton, I was not ready for the tag team duo. They would switch places, undoing all the damage to them unless I dispelled all of their dark spots. That upon doing lets me get some meaningful hits in, defeating them, earning the Bright Falls finest and back in watery trophies. Chapter 7, No Chance, begins with a return to Bright Falls, but it seems Scratch is starting to make his moves, attacking Casey and knocking out Alan, allowing the FBC to come in and take custody of him, while also telling Saga she is officially off the case. Ending this very short chapter with the We Watch in the Night trophy. Chapter 8, Old Gods, begins with a trip to Tor and Odin. Chasing after Tor into the wellness centre, it seems like Cynthia will be the boss of this area, who you would know better as the Lady of the Light from the first game, the one who gave Alan the clicker in the first place. Now that we have sorted out the wellness centre, we can enter the reception, pick up the doorknob and take it over to the door on the map here to pick up the hunting rifle, earning the Ready for a Fight trophy for finding the gun. And a fun little fact, this rifle used to belong to Alan and Rose has been keeping it safe after all these years. Now we head into the overlap, during which we find the bolt cutters, securing our final item of the game to get everywhere unlocked and earning the cut short trophy too, which happened to me during the fight there as I got knocked on my ass by this shadow. Getting to the Cynthia boss fight, she is easily the hardest shadow we have fought this entire game, because the moment she loses her darkness shield, she turns into a complete psychopath, chasing after us and just beating us down, which happened multiple times to me. But because I decided to prep and keep a lot of flares on me, I managed to stunlock her to death, getting the Girl in Love trophy for beating her, and also the Old Gods trophy for beating the chapter, saving Tor in the process, who then says he will reveal everything he can. Chapter 9, Scratch, starts with me exploring the new areas. Now that we are free to roam about, I get the In One Go trophy for one shot in an enemy. We then return to Bright Falls to investigate the police station, only to see it messed up by a Taken that somehow got in, decimating nearly all of the FBC except for Estevez. And being the great agent that we are, we acquire the second shotgun of the game, earning ourselves the Stop Right There trophy. And so, after a little fighting through the station and turning on the power, we get to Wake, and just as we are about to give him the clicker, Scratch appears in one of the coolest moments I've seen in a while, immediately killing Jacko, taking his coat and attacking Saga, throwing us into a boss fight. Fighting against Scratch is pointless, as the light and our weapons don't do anything to damage him. Instead, they only stun. But knowing that he can be stunned, we run to power up 3 of the FBC electrical boxes to power up their lights. That barely even work, as he gets stopped for only a moment before making his escape. Ending this chapter with the Seeing Double trophy and me just as confused as Saga. We have reached Saga's point of no return in her story, so we are going off to find everything we can before going over to Alan's side, starting with the nice things in life for petting this dog, who is actually the one running for mayor. Running along a little, we also get Rustic Charm for finding all of the charms, I'll Find You for finding all of the dolls, Hidden by the Trees for finding all of the Casey lunchboxes and stashes, and finally Shifting Reality for finishing all of the nursery rhymes. Now we can continue on with the story. Chapter 10, We Sing, starts with the trophy Yippee-Ki-Yay for finding the double-barrel shotgun, but we found that in the real world and not in the dark place, so I am unsure why it gave us the trophy here. Like usual, Alan starts a new draft of initiation, but this time he's began with a musical number that I am 100% sure will get copyright striked. Now the entire song, the entire area and this entire chapter is just a musical about Alan being the champion of light and everything he has done in his life. During it though, we do find the flare gun, getting the lights shining trophy, and another one of Alan's classic weapons has been returned to us. Getting to the end of the musical, we write ourselves out of it, getting the All His Life trophy and ending this chapter, which honestly was my favourite part of the game so far. Chapter 11, 665, starts by answering the phone once again, but this time the mysterious voice tells us they want to meet at the Ocean View Hotel in room 665. Travelling along the rooftop for a while, we finally reclaim our shotgun, get the all accounted for trophy, take a look at a very expensive Ocean View cocktail, and make our way inside to meet the mysterious person, who is revealed to be Thomas Zane, the man Tor and Odin have been calling Alan since the first game. And just like before, we shape a story for our needs, this time a murder in a hotel. We go through the play from pre-show jitters to haunted ballrooms to even heading to the Devil's Room itself, where the dark presence attacks once again because of how dark the story is becoming. And then we get to the climax of it all, earning us the trophy in a fancy hotel and ending this chapter. Chapter 12, Depths, puts us back in Alan's apartment for Alice's second part of her documentary, which talks about her depression, to the acceptance of Alan's death, and even finding out about the dark place herself by capturing Scratch multiple different times with her camera. It ends with Alan finding Return, writing Saga into the manuscript to help stop Scratch, escaping from the dark place, and the trophy told and retold, which is fitting since Alan has once again died to Scratch, repeating the cycle once more with another draft of initiation. Chapter 13, Masks, once again puts us at the beginning of initiation for the third time, and the revelation that Mr. Door is connected to Saga through his way of saying Alan dragged someone he cared about into the story. I may have also accidentally beaten this chapter by running to the TV, earning me the Behind the Masks trophy without actually doing anything this chapter. But back to the basement we go, finding Alice's photo of the clicker, a strange bullet, and of course returning to the TV to escape the studio.
Even if I didn't know what to do with him yet.
Chapter 14, Zane's film, starts at the newly formed cinema in pursuit of the companion film of Alan's manuscript's return. But what we find is something completely different to what we know in Saga's story. The story of Nightless Night follows what seems to be the original manuscript of Return before Alan started making his edits, as we hear familiar voices talking about initiations into the cult. Casey serving as the story's protagonist, not Saga. Zane playing the role of Alan Wake, showing his desire to escape and possibly leave Alan behind, and even the Grandmaster, who is able to manipulate the dark place just like Alan does, even talking to him while appearing as an apparition. During all of this, we even managed to get the last of Alan's videos, earning the Trial of the Writer trophy, and another clue into how we can help Saga from beyond the dark place while simultaneously trying to fix initiation, ending this chapter and getting the trophy, the Cult of the Word. Chapter 15, Summoning, has us once again answer a phone call. Only this time, it is from ourselves, a future Alan giving him hope that he can escape from the dark place. But first, we must put Alice's photos into a shoebox under her statue to help ourselves, help Alice and Saga, where the game then forcibly switches us into Saga to continue her point of no return story, which takes place at Cauldron Lake with the help of the old gods of Asgard using their art to bring Alan back from the dark place with the help of the clicker. That again is probably copywritten, so we will be skipping the fight. Sorry. However, instead of saving Alan, we are forcibly switched into him and are back in his apartment, starting chapter 16, Gone, and the third part of Alice's documentary of living with Scratch, and how everything we thought we knew about him might be wrong after all. Earning the chapter trophy Gone, we learn that Alan did come back, but so did Scratch, only their return was when we first met them back in chapter 2. Now, as Saga, we immediately start a boss fight with the Scratch/Alan entity, once again using the FBC lights to fight against them, and after a few rounds with Scratch, we lure him into the cage with the clicker, but instead of winning the fight, Scratch escapes, possesses Casey and disappears with the clicker, earning the Filled with Rage trophy for defeating Scratch and the Rock and Roll Baby trophy for beating the chapter. Chapter 17, Deerfest, starts with us controlling Alan, Saga gone, and Thor and Odin chasing after her into the dark place, with us returning to Bright Falls and getting a fun Easter egg of Alan posing like he does in the first game. And upon returning into the Bright Falls, we see a different version of it, one twisted to suit Scratch's needs. And after exploring a little bit, we find the final video for the Koskeller Brothers trophy, and with that trophy, we only have the story left to go for the platinum. Skipping ahead a little, we are chased by Scratch, and I died to a box being in the way. Are you kidding me? I couldn't even move it. Look at this death. Look how stupid that thing is. But rewinding a little bit, we make it to the writer's room thanks to Rose, who believed that Alan has been leaving her notes for the past 13 years, even with Alan denying that claim. But then, we begin writing the ending to return, a new perfect ending to save everyone by someone paying the price, ending the chapter with the final Deerfest trophy. Chapter 18, Come Home, has Saga experienced the dark place through herself and the story Saga, one who accepts the false reality of everything and one who doesn't. And after figuring everything out, we step into the dark place, ready to find a way home, grabbing both the clicker and the bullet of light that Alan left for us in photo form, now made reality. We also meet Tim here, who is trying to rationalize all of this himself, saying he too will find a way home if he can just wake up. Now, with both items in hand, we return to Alan, earning the trophy End of the Road. Now back in the writing room, Saga and Alan force Scratch out of Casey and back into Alan, with the pair coming to terms that to stop Scratch, one must die. So, using the bullet of light, Saga takes the shot, killing both Alan and Scratch, earning us both the Story Come True trophy for beating Alan Wake 2 and the Sisu trophy for the platinum. Alan Wake 2 was a phenomenal game from start to finish, to the point I couldn't pull it down. It had the perfect blend of horror and action, with a little comedy thrown in every now and again. Going through each scenario, you can see how the developers wanted to tell the story. you have Saga, the action hero, where her story was filled with fighting shadows, multiple boss fights and investigations, always giving you something to do to the point you don't stop to look around, unless you're going for the platinum, of course. Then you have Alan, the broken hero in a nightmare of his own making, where the action is in small bursts, instead focusing on hiding, calculating where you need to go, how to change the story to suit your needs, while simultaneously making you question everything you see. Because, as Alan says, it's not a loop, it's a spiral. Then you also have the Alex Casey side plot, which felt like a love letter to fans of the original Max Payne series. Seeing him back in full form and having an entire storyline about his hunt for Alan Wake was so encapsulating that I actively searched for more echoes just to see how his story played out. And although we may not get another game, this story felt like a nice goodbye from the team, even giving us a 20-minute film back in chapter 15, which of course I did watch to the end. Alan Wake 2 is a great standalone game and a brilliant sequel to the first. With how they've ended it, I do hope we get a sequel to give Alan and Alice the happy ending they both deserve and finally escape the clutches of the Dark Presence. However, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe because I enjoyed recording this. I hope you enjoyed watching. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and from Alan, Saga, Casey and I, goodbye.